Okay, Boker Tov, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're learning in the month of Elul for Leilui Nishmas Bas Yafega Bas Yisrael, Levi ben Yosef, for the refuah of Sarah Bas Rachel Fega, and for the refuah of Leah Shoshana Bas Malya. The week is sponsored by the Reinitz family in honor of Michal's birthday. My sister's birthday. And today is sponsored by Dahlia and Eddie Erlet. Where's Dahlia's here? Hey, Dahlia. In memory of Melva Sarah Siegel, Dahlia's Ima, on her 24th yortzeit. And in honor and celebration of Dahlia and Eddie Orlev's 50th wedding anniversary today.
Today.
Oh, that's so pretty.
That's why I'm pretty.
What a simcha.
Mashu.
No, lo pashut.
The kids did amazing. We did amazing.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
We had another chuppah.
Really?
With a photographer.
There's a yofi. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Kol shebang.
I noticed.
That's beautiful. Okay.
Which
All right, I'm very thankful. I want to just say thank you. Thank you to Hashem, the opportunity to start off another year learning together. B'sat d'shmaya, we should soar. We should mamash soar and speak to the Torah that we learn should be the Torah that nourishes our neshamas and has a world of lemaisas, of like, this is what it's going to be like this is going to have actual implications in our life, both Thursdays and Sundays. I'll just say for a second, what we're going to be learning on Sunday is a sefer we never did before, from the author of the Bilvav Mishkan Evne about chinuch yeladim. But really, that's just an easy title to say about chinuch. We'll speak more about that on Sunday morning, Da'at Yeladecha, which I'm very excited about. And for Thursday mornings, what we're going to be doing is tapping into the world of, the title is Ma'alas Tfilas Nashim. This is on Thursday mornings. The Ma'ala of the davening of women. This has come after conversations with many of you over the last year about certain things that you'd like to delve deeper into. And after davening about this a lot over the summer to find out really what would be the right thing to approach. And I'm very, very excited. And I guess a more appropriate thing is I'm also in fear and trepidation before this series. Why? Because obviously I'm a man and I'm teaching and we're learning, we're learning together, Malas Tfilas Nashim, but it's actually ties into a lot of the things that I would like to see happening here in the Kehillah, and that is to give big hakara, recognition, and chizuk, and strengthening the fact that the power and the inspiration that the women in this community, bifrat during davening, have shown the world is unbelievable. And unfortunately, you only really taste what you have when you go somewhere else. That's generally how things happen. So because we've become accustomed to the fact that hundreds of women are davening their hearts and kishkas out here, is something that's kiluken. That's what it is. Nachon. That's what it has become because of you. But it's not yet like this all over the place. Although Baruch Hashem, tremendous changes have taken place over the last decade, I think. But to speak about the power and the inspiration, I think I keep on going back to that word, that that Olam Shel Anashim has to offer the world, is something that I want to make an emphasis on, and I want to deepen it, and I want to speak about it though through learning, through talking about it. But the title is a little bit misleading because it's not only about, in order to understand, I'll put it like this, in order to understand what we're doing, we have to also delve into deeper layers of prayer, of tefillah, of the siddur, absolutely, and see it through the different worlds of Chazal, which will be very, very special for us to do. What we're going to be doing is answering a bunch of questions that we have, both in the halacha and both obviously in pnimiyut. And I'm sure two things. Many of the things that we're going to be learning here you've brushed upon at a certain point in life. Definitely. There's no shadow of doubt. But a lot of the Torahs we're going to be learning are from big tzaddikim, where in their worlds, it was a tremendous chiddush to speak about hitchaskut shel tfilat nashim. And I want us to keep that in mind as we go along. Because in many, many places, for whatever the reasons are, there is no inyan. It's not such a big inyan to make. Why? Because of the mitzvah. Because of the chiyuv or non-chiyuv of the mitzvah, which we have to learn deeper. The question is as follows. Is it a chiyuv? Do women have to daven? Now that question you could ask about a lot of different things. Do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? Why isn't there, so to speak? Well, what's the difference between a mitzvah aseh she'azman gerama and a mitzvah aseh she'azman lo gerama? What's the pnimiyut behind these? What's the pnimiyut behind these inyanim of why are men obligated in time-bound mitzvahs? And I'm going to speak about. We're going to be learning about it in pnimiyut. And what does it mean that a woman is not mechuyevet, is not obligated through time-bound mitzvahs? And I just, if it's okay, also, I just want to also dedicate the shir. Leilui Nishmas Your Abba, if we could do that. If you could just tell me the name in Hebrew. Yosef ben Gershon Leib, one of the sweetest Yidlach that ever walked the face of the earth. And Tei Nishmas Atzrua B'tzrua Chaim. He's in our hearts forever. All of us here. So these questions about mitzvah aseh shazman gramat, not just to learn it b'shetach, but to go to the pnimiyut of it. What do these things mean? What stops us from believing that if I'm not chayav to do something, it's not as important as if I'd be chayav? And we're going to talk about that, obviously directed towards the inyan of women's prayer, of tefillat nashim, but it's going to open up a lot of different windows and gates for us for a lot of different things to be speaking about. But again, this shir is a result of the commitment, the dedication, and the inspiration that the women of this community have been showing since day one, since before day one. And I just want to give a big yesher koach and continue to lechazek everyone for their incredible, incredible devotion. That whatever you see going on over here is really, really a zchut to be part of, and something that shouldn't be taken for granted at all. So having said all that, where do we begin? How are we going to start with anything? Do we need more chairs? There are chairs up here. You can take it to the back. I won't be offended. Listen, we have to bring more. We'll bring in more chairs into the back of the shul, in back of the room by next year, please God. So, where do we start with this whole sugya? So we're going to start with another tzaddik that we haven't yet learned in our Beis Midrash, which I'm very, very excited about. It's a tzaddik whose svarim on my shelves have been staring me at the eye. Like, I don't know if it happens to some of you, but you ever walk into your home or into your library, and instead of being like, wow, it's so beautiful, I have all these svarim, you see these eyes looking at you like, open me up already. you know, what is... I mean, it's cute that I'm here. Thank you for inviting me into your house, but open me up. Take advantage of this. Come on already. Well, one of these svarim has been on my shelf for many years. And it's a sefer from the Biala Rebbe. And the title is Schus Nashim Tzadkanius. And the Biala Rebbe that we're going to be speaking, we're going to be learning from today, opens up, we're going to be, not just today, for a few months, opens up the door to a lot of the things we spoke about, and much, much, much more. Who was the Biala Rebbe? The previous Biala Rebbe, who passed away just over a year ago. Have any of you heard of the Biala Rebbe before? Yeah, no, a little bit? The previous Biala Rebbe? The previous Biala Rebbe, his full name was Rebbe Tzalel Simcha Menachem Ben Zion Rabinowitz. The only reason that you'll remember that, actually, what I just said, I have to remember it also, Rebbe Tzalel Simcha Menachem Ben Zion Rabinowitz, is because his sefer, his list of svarim is called Mevaser Tov. Mevaser is the Rashi Tevos. How did it work out? Mevaser is Menachem, Betzalel, Simcha, Ben Zion. Mevaser. He has a besora, the Biala Rebbe. He has a besora in every word that he said. And I'll give you just like a 3-minute brief description of him, an explanation, a little bit of who we're speaking about. The Biala Rebbe was known for many different things. He spent for many, many years after, he was the rabbi of the town of the city of Lugano in Switzerland. And he would split his time between Switzerland and Eretz Yisrael. But in later years, he moved up to Tzfat, where he set up shop there. And he passed away at the age of 89, like I said, I think it was last summer, or right before last, in May of 2024. He comes from a Hasidic family. His father was the Rebbe before him, the Biala Rebbe, Rabbi Yechiel Yeshua. And the Nazis came and obviously caused all the lifestyle, whatever they were going through, to run away, to figure things out. A long story of the family's own survival and unfortunately non-survival of a chunk of the family. The Biala Rebbe makes it here to Eretz Yisrael in 1943, and he ends up getting married in London in 1957, and he was living in Gateshead in England, and he was one of the Rabbanim of the Kollel there. For many years he was there, and he becomes the Rebbe after his father dies in 1979. And in 1979 he was appointed the rabbi of the town Lugano in Switzerland. Have any of you been there?
Yeah, I went with them.
To the Rebbe?
No.
Oh, just to Lugano, okay. And he kept that job he kept that position there till Tafshin Ayin Aleph, that would be 2011. And like I said, then he comes here to Eretz Yisrael. The Biala Rebbe, you've heard the name Biala, the Biala Rebbe wrote. He wrote and he wrote and he wrote. He has, I checked this out, I couldn't believe it. He has over 137 Sfarim under the title Mevaser Tov. And some of the Sfarim that he has is a whole set on the Shas. He had not the whole Shas, but many of the Masechtas. He has many different Sfarim on Chassidus and on the Parsha. But then he has topics that most of the tzaddikim you see didn't really put out Sfarim about until like maybe now in our days you have this much more and more. Like a whole sefer about Tchias HaMesim, a whole sefer on the Nitzchius of Beis HaMikdash, a whole sefer on Tikkun HaMidos, a whole sefer about Ikvas de Mashiach, a whole sefer about the joy and the joy of the pnimiyut of joy when you find your zivug, and a number of sfarim about schus nashim tzadkanios, about righteous women. Now, in his circles, in the circles obviously in more deeper Hasidic Welt, a lot of these Torahs you're going to hear, you'll be like, well, of course. What are you trying to tell me? Like we know this, we live like this already. But by them, it's not so much like that. In that world, it's not a little bit, it's a lot different. Very different. And I think that one of the things that's going to happen to us when we learn here is that it'll mechazek our decisions for how we've chosen to live our lives. It'll really be a tremendous sense of empowerment, which is just as important as learning new things. So there's a lot more hakdamas we could do, a lot more hakdamas we could do on the matter. This is what the Sefer looks like now. Because I'm not sure how long we're going to be sticking with it, but definitely for a few months. And because I still can't figure out when I know, because I always write the date of the time, the month and the year that I purchased the Sefer. But to find these Sfarim has not been easy. So until I could say I know how to find them and get them, I'm going to be preparing from this for now. But like I said, we're going to be seeing this concept from a lot of different areas, and I thought that it would be perfect, obviously, to start the concept of Malat Filat Nashim Dafka now, during this man where davening is becoming, we're back to somewhat of more of routines, and we're going into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur now, and tefillah kamuvan has to be on the front of, and already is in the front of everything that we're doing, in order to dip into this as smooth and soft as possible, a little bit of an introduction to everything that we're going to be learning. This is very, very easy Hebrew, very modern Hebrew. It's not complicated at all. Now, in the past, in shiurim, when I've said in the beginning of a shiur, this is not complicated at all, it always turns out to be the most complicated shiur that we've had. Klal. It's always happened like this. It's always happened like this. I think today I think you'll tell me at the end of this year, I think we're on the right path. I think we're on the right path. Now I just want to say one more thing. Because since obviously this is something I'm speaking that from my side, I'm sharing it from how the Rebbes are teaching it. I don't expect it to just stay in like, okay, what did we learn in this year? There will be a lot of feelings and expressions and things that have come up that you'll be speaking about. I mean, I've had so many conversations with so many of you in the room about the world you grew up in versus the world that you're in now. The ma'alot and the chesronot, the advantages and disadvantages of both worlds. So it won't be complex to understand anything here, but it will definitely bring about, hopefully, and that's the point, it's the point of the learning. It'll bring about a lot of different feelings and emotions that will want to be voiced. So all I ask is that it's just done with sensitivity. I guess that's the best word. Just with sensitivity that, you may feel something so strong as a woman, but not everyone in the room, as the other women in the room, may not feel as strong about it. So whatever, in the world you have a concept today, the as a Jews. Do you know what that is? No. As a Jew? Anyone that says something that's so like pathetically stupid about the situation, about Am Yisrael, right? They start their sentences as a Jew. You never saw this? As a Jews? As a Jews. So not to compare it, whatever. You have chevra that they think, they're causing some of the most greatest damage about the situation in the world, b'shem as a Jew, right? So there's zero sensitivity to the situation. So there shouldn't be, I just don't want there to be like as a woman. You're all like, we're all in the same, you're all in the same boat. So it may evoke certain emotions and feelings, and I just want to make sure that every comment is just really voiced, and I want there to be comments, very much so, but with sensitivity. Because it could be the person sitting right next to you feels completely not in the same parsha as you. That's okay, that's fine. If Hashem wanted us to all look the same, we would all look the same. We're not shocked about the fact that none of us really look exactly the same. We get shocked when we think differently from each other for some reason. But just to open that up and to keep it all bamash in a kovedik way, in a sensitive way. So this is just a mavo. This is just an opening to how the Biala Rebbe's teachings will be approaching and addressing the issue that we have over here. Not the issue, but the privilege that we have over here. Tfilat nashim chashivut elyona. Shamati b'shem kadmon. I heard it in the name of a kadmon. Kadmon literally means someone ancient, but it really means an older chacham. Ki af sheta'ut gdola hi la'adam, im eino makir et chesrenotav, ach ta'ut gdola od yoter hi, im ha'adam eino makir et ma'alotav. It's a very profound statement to open up over here. He said that it's true that it's a tremendously great mistake if a person does not recognize their blemishes and what they're lacking. You have to know what you're lacking, but it's even a greater mistake if you're not aware of how gewalt you are, basically. If you're not really aware of it, if you don't recognize your maila. That's true about everything and everyone. But al-achaz kama v'chama is that true in the Jewish world regarding women. Now I want to say it again. It's been getting better and better and better and better. I once heard from Rav Shlomo in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, the Mashiach is going to come when women find their place again in the world. And it's happening. It's happening. It's happening, and maybe another statement that I want to make sure is clear. the way that I'm going to be choosing to give it over is just my hashkafa. But I'm so happy that there are other hashkafas in the world that think differently. Quite often, I meet with people that come to meet with me about maybe joining the shul, and after hearing what they really want and what they feel they need, I'm very happy that there are other options and for specific needs. I think that's beautiful. It'd be horrible if everyone needed the same shul. No one would like anybody after 2 minutes. Like, trust me, no one would like anybody after 2 minutes. So what we're saying over here is that it's very important to know your own ma'alot in the context of, over here, we're going to be speaking mainly about tefillah. It's true about every single person in the world. You don't know, you don't know what you have to work on, oivei, but you don't know who you are and what you already have. That's just as much nebuch. And he's going to explain over here. ועל דבר זה צריך אני להעריך ולבאר לנשות ישראל, שיכירו ברום מעלתם. That I have to really spend time here and to explain to the best of my ability to women of Am Yisrael that they should know the exaltedness of their level. Why? שכן כאן בעולם הזה נראה כלפי חוץ. It seems in this world outwardly שהאנשים מעמדם יותר גבוה משל האישה. Man's status seems to look like it's greater than the woman. במנהיגות העם, when it comes to the leadership of the people, although we did have one female prime minister, one, right? Mm-hmm. Only one, right? ואשר יושבים הם באוהלה של תורה. He says, the man, he's sitting we always say, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam. And there's even though, like Baruch Hashem, things have been changing, but for so many years, Torah was a thing that was the man's. It was his inyan. Ohala shel Torah. V'ilu ha'isha היא רק עזר כנגדם. Now, this is still true in many different sectors of Yiddishkeit. And this is obviously, he's speaking from within a Hasidic community, emphasizing that this is what it seems to be on the surface. Ach baruchniut ein ze kach. Spiritually, this is absolutely not true. שכן בשמיים, הנשים הן החשובות יותר מהאנשים. In the heavens, women are much more important than men. כמבואר בחז"ל, ששכרן הוא הרבה מאוד יותר מהאנשים. As we will see, Chazal teaches that the reward, the schar that women get in the world to come is greater than that of man. But I know what many of you might be thinking, speculating. לא מעניין אותי מה יש בשמיים. אני רוצה פה למטה, בעולם הזה. Let's talk about this world. It's not going to make me feel good if you tell me, listen, your reward, what's waiting for you, is so much greater than what's waiting for me. Mazel tov. זה גם לא מעניין אותי. That's not the purpose. But we have to keep that in mind as we're learning about the concepts that Chazal have given us throughout the years. והטעם, what's the reason? שחשובות הן שם, הוא לרוב מעלת נשמתן הקדושה, וליבן הזך שהוא מלא רגש טהור. The reason of the importance that we're speaking about is because of the maila of their holy souls and their refined hearts, which is filled with regesh tahor. Do you know what that means? Pure emotion. The purity of emotion. Regesh tahor. Shehen mitbatlot liratzon Hashem yitbarach. Bittul is a concept that is naturally, innately, found much more by a woman than by a man. And we're going to be speaking about this. By the way, these are not hopefully you understand. It's not a statement intro. It's an introduction to a lot of the things we're going to be learning about. ויותר מוכנות הן לעולם הבא. And they're more prepared for the next world, which Chazal say, it's incumbent upon everyone in this world to make sure you're prepared for the next world. As the saying says, עולם הזה דומה לפרוזדור, עולם הבא דומה לטרקלין, אבל כדי שהיא תיכנס לפרוזדור, צריכים להיכנס לטרקלין. everything about this world is just a, you know what a traklin you see by an airport, you see that word, that means a, like a, what's that?
A passageway?
Yeah, like a,
The
prosdor is a passageway, traklin is the, it's like the lounge, yeah. מה שאין כן האנשים שהם צריכים הרבה עמל והגיעה, men need much more work לזכך את החומר, to refine the חומר, כדי שיהיו ראויים לעולם הבא, so that they should be suitable for the next world, כמו שיתבאר. ולמטרה זו נתחבר הספר הזה. It's for this purpose that I wrote this ספר. שנשים צדקניות תכרנה בכוחן הגדול והקדוש. The Biala Rebbe says, I'm looking at the world, I'm looking at what's become of self-image by many women in the communities, and what I want so badly, the Rebbe is saying, is that women have a heker of how holy and how strong their koach really is. Now, this is not just, you have to realize he's not just trying to give like sweet talk, he's not trying to make you feel good. This is a limud. This is learning. This is not like, oh, you've been suffering so much. Really, you're so pure and so holy. That's not the talk. Yeah.
Did you write this book for the women in his community?
Right, so that's what I said in the beginning. Oh, if they actually sat and learned it, I have to ask them. I don't know. But if it was just meant for women to learn, you see, this is what I was wondering. A lot of, like Rav Arush has Sfarim, where he'll say on it, Lenashim Bilvad. Right? There are a few other Sfarim like that I've seen. Where, and also Legvarim Bilvad, exactly. Haven't seen any disclaimer on these Sfarim. I think that if the Biala Rebbe wanted this to just be for the women in his community, and not for other women, and not for men, this would have been an underground publication that was just dispersed as like cheap chovrot for the women in the community. This is a pretty covered, you don't put that much money into, this is a very nice publication. This is like a real sefer, So I've been wondering this, but I think that because this is here, it's just as important for men. Like, it'd be weird if I did this shiur for, it would be a little bit weird, no? if this was a shiur for men. But the truth is, there's an Indian that men have to learn about this as well.
I'm more surprised the other way. Like, I would have thought that he wrote it for the men to appreciate the women, but it actually sounds like he's addressing the women.
He's addressing the women here, but it's very good what you're saying. But since it's exposed to all of us, it must mean that zegam vegam. Zegam vegam. Listen, he has other sfarim about like bichlal, a human's being with understanding what humanity is, but this is bifrat. I didn't see a sefer that said that's called Ma'ala Tfilat Gvarim. But that's because of a certain inyan, which we said in the beginning. When you're mechuyev in a mitzvah aseh she'azman gerama, right? When you're obligated to do a mitzvah, a time-bound mitzvah, like men with davening, so the approach is very different. The need to tell you, you're so good, you could do this, is a little bit different than when something is not necessarily commanded. It doesn't fall under the time-bound, a chiyuv. There's a lot more on this specific topic. So again, ולמטרה זו נתחבר הספר הזה, שנשים צדקניות תכרנה בכוחן הגדול והקדוש, that they should know and recognize their great strength and holiness, שעימן נוצרו, with which they were created, ובאו לעולם מכוח האבות הקדושים, and came to the world from the power of Avot HaKadoshim. Doesn't mean here just men. It means Avot HaKadoshim, all of our parents, what we came with in the world. V'tedana et ma'alotehen u'zchoyotehen harabot. And they should know their milas and their great merits. V'ad kama po'alot hen b'ma'asehen b'chol ha'olamot. And just how much every single action, bifrat prayer, affects the whole, women's prayer affects the whole world. That was very important for him. ודבר זה צריך חיזוק תמידי. We constantly need to be strengthened in this matter. שכן כאן עלי אדמות, because here in this world, בני אדם נוטים לכבד את מה שנראה להם חשוב על פי חיצוניותו. Generally speaking, we end up, we honor something that seems very important based on its chitzonius, based on something that exterior, right? ודוגמה לכך, an example, שבעולם הזה אנשים מכבדים ומחשיבים מאוד בעלי מעמד גבוה, כמו ראש ממשלה ודומיו. Like when a prime minister walks into a room, you know, there's this like cover. When an ambassador walks into the room, there's like this wow, you know, this cover that happens. כי חושבים הם כי אדם רם מעלהו. Because we're under the assumption, if this person has reached such a prestigious level in life, then they also must be ram ma'ala, which means like refined, pure, like holy as well. לעומת פשוטי העם שהם פחותי ערך. That's how it works in the world. Someone that doesn't look so kavodic, right? Or that doesn't get that kavod that these certain figures get, the other person doesn't get that much kavod. וזה אינו נכון כלל. This isn't true at all. משום שאנשים מחשיבים מישהו בעל מעמד אך ורק מסיבות חיצוניות ולא מעבר לכך, כי באמת אין בו כלום מעבר למעמדו, ובמה נחשב הוא. The Biala Rebbe says, do you know how many people walk the streets of the world and they get so much covered because you're under the assumption that they're special and important people, when in truth, there's nothing there. There's nothing inside. Similar to how Rabbi Nachman explains the Yetzer Hara. You know what the Yetzer Hara does all day long to us? He looks at us, we've said this before, like this. He says, you definitely want what's inside of here, right? And he keeps on going like this with his hand and closes his fist. You know, all day long it's in front of it, right? And Rabbi Nachman says, just like by going like this, by showing you, making you think there's something really special and important here, he could completely hijack your brain. Until what happens, Rabbi Nachman says, you either could walk away and say, I bet you this is nothing in here. And he says, oh yeah, you're willing to walk away from this? And you're like, yeah, you walk away. And then if you have like a mirror in front of you to see what's in back of you, and then the Yetzer Hara goes, oh man, he got me, and there's nothing in it. Or you could be there and be like, no, okay, my everything I want is right here, it's right in this thing, And then what happens to you when the Yetzer Hara goes like this and there's nothing in it? What happens to your self-value? Like, what do you start thinking about yourself? What kind of a person? Why am I running after something that doesn't even exist? Kavod in this world works very much like this. Very much like this. So the famous teaching in the Rabbi Nachman, Likutei Moharan Vav, the Rebbe brings a chazal that says, anyone that runs after kavod, kavod runs away from him. And anyone that runs away from kavod, kavod runs after him. For so many years, for whatever the reasons were, and they're not just religious reasons, many of them are political, many of them are just basic social norms. Women ran away, it's still happening. Women ran away from kavod, and the world was running after those that try to show that they're kavodic. And things have been shifting. Now, even Baruch Hashem, things have been getting better and better. When things shift, it still has to be placed in the right way. I'll give an example. Talk about being sensitive right now. Remember what I told you before, okay? The Me Too movement, gewalt or not gewalt? Forget I'm in the room for 1 second, okay?
To say anything.
The Me Too movement, gewalt or not gewalt? Okay, all I got was gewalt and started with gewalt. Anything else?
It got hijacked. It could have been good.
Started off amazing.
Yeah.
It started off. There was an opening for something incredible to take place in the world, mamash, and like you mamash. It got hijacked. Today, the Me Too. Today, we realized that it was almost like there was a besora in the world that said, okay, everyone's catching along. Everyone's catching along. Certain things cannot happen anymore, no matter what, no matter what. But what happened to it? Because it wasn't directed with holiness and leadership. Today, it's what's that?
Like it never happened.
It's almost like it never. Well, it had.
Made fun of.
It's become like a mockery almost in many. It's such a chaval. So there's been a holy Me Too movement taking place in the world of pnimiyut HaTorah versus non-pnimiyut HaTorah. And again, please bear with what I'm about to say right now. There's definitely been a huge awakening within our circles as well in this very, very holy matter. Very holy matter. But when it's not coming from pnimiyus, just like anything else in the world, it loses its real purpose and what it could really do in the world. In a real way. In a real way. If it's just a matter of hierarchy, it'll never work. Because men should also never be under these assumptions of like, listen, the way the Torah put it, it's very clear, hierarchy, it's by males. If it's about hierarchy, these things will never come up bigger. If it's about Hashem's dreams and what I know about what Hashem dreamt when he thought about creating a woman and what he placed in a woman and the dreams that he has for women and what Chazal have told us about the kedusha and the kedusha of a nekeva, of a neshama of a nekeva versus the kedusha of neshama of a zachar, we have a chance for what these movements have tried to do to really implement itself in an everlasting way, in a way that really stays and lasts forever. And that's why the avoda here is very, very important right now. And I think, Baruch Hashem, listen, if we were in a community that like 20 women came to shul on Friday night and 300 men were here, we'd have to have a completely different conversation. But when you're in a community, when every single Shabbos there are hundreds of women that are crying out to the Ribono Shel Olam, we have what to work with. And it's exciting. And it's thrilling. And women that are coming and learning Torah every single day. And women that are teaching Torah here kimat every single day. We have what to work with. And I want to give us a bracha to be the leadership of the besora of a holy and healthy Me Too movement that can provide like what this door and what our girls need in a healthy and holy way. That's a dream. And Baruch Hashem, we live where we live, because many people that are here before us, I mean, one of all of our Rebbes are in the room of people that have put down the roots for us to do what we get to do, without mentioning names. It's a zchut that we could, it's not like we're showing up on the scene and like, hey, we have something to do. People worked hard here, very hard, for many years to open things up and for people to have a voice and be heard. And now it's our job to just refine that and make it clearer and deeper and more focused, more mudrach, all of this good energy, to focus it, to make it come out in the healthiest and holiest way possible. So again, a little bit of a tangent, but it's very important. On the outside, it always seems that people in higher places, which have been men for many, many years, also religiously, it seems that must mean they're holier, or they have a closer connection. And anytime you come to a woman and you say to them, and you could tell me this obviously, oh, you don't need all the mitzvahs that men do because you're already holy. What do you feel like doing to a person like that? I can just imagine. You want to smack them in the face. You want to strangle them. Have you ever been told that? Yeah, we're not going to be, that's not this year. Just to make sure everyone knows. That's bichalal, not this. This is not this year. Here we're talking just on the outside of things that are perceived in the eyes of the world. And it's very elusive. Now also, just you should know, this shir is also not men bashing shir either. It's just to learn Torah. That's all it is. It's just to learn a sugya through Chazal. There's no agendas. just to give thanks and hakara and to strengthen. But there's no ulterior motives or agendas in the matter. Let's continue. Ach ba'olamot ha'elyonim, in the higher worlds, which is really what should be in our minds and our thoughts every single day, how much this world is mamish, like we're going to be saying on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, is like a passing shadow. We say in Adam Yesodo me'afar v'sofo le'afar, benafsho yavi lachmo, mashul kecheres hanishbar. That epic moment of davening, that we say our lives are like ketzel over, uche'anan kala, like a shadow that passes, and like a ke'anan chala, like a cloud that when it's above you, that's all you see, and you think this world is what it's like under this cloud. And then it ends up saying v'chachalom ya'uf, and like a dream that just flies away. So all of us are working so hard, thinking about the olamot ha'elyonim, about the higher worlds, and in those worlds, where it's beyond time and space, אין שום ערך וחשיבות למעמדו החיצוני של האדם, אלא לפנימיותו. There is no value to any type of outer, an exterior picture. All that really, really matters in the world that we really care about is only about pnimiyus, what's inside. ודוגמה לזה היא, תינוקות של בית רבן שאין בהם חטא, Jewish kinderlach that have no sin in them. Shechashuvim hem kol kach begovhei meromim. They're so important in the higher worlds. Ad shekol haolam omed behevel pihem. The whole world is standing in the merit of the hevel, the air that comes out of their mouth. Kemevor, like it says in the Gemara in Shabbos, Amar Rish Lakish mishum Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya. So Rish Lakish says in the name of, who's Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya? Rebbe. Who is Rebbe? What did he do? Huh? Rebbe is the one that we're sitting here today and learning any type of Torah because of Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, right? So Rish Lakish says in the name of Yehuda Nesiya, En haolam mitkayem ela bishvil hevel tinokot shel Beit Rabban. The whole world exists only because of the hevel tinokot shel Beit Rabban, the air, the breath that comes out of our babies. Va'afilu harach hanimol ben shmonat yamim, even a baby that's 8 days old that just had a bris, matzanu et rum kocho shebebichyo niftachim sharei shamayim. We will see, we will learn and hear also how through his tears, through the cry of a baby who was just born, that cry actually opens up gates in Shamayim and brings about an eit ratzon muflag, a tremendous eit ratzon. Bezot b'shel shebichyo zach v'tahor she'en kedugmato. This is because his crying is so pure and refined that there's no example to it. V'lachen chashivuto hi gdola ad me'od b'shamayim. And therefore his crying is so great in heavens. Let me ask you something. When you hear a baby cry at a bris, what does it do to you? On the outside, what does it do to us? Oy, never, ow, 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 right? In the inside, what does it do to us? What can it do to us? What is the baby crying over? The baby is crying over exactly what's hurting them. That's why the crying is so refined and pure. When an adult cries or kvetches, what are they crying or kvetching about?
The past or the future.
Very little to do with what is hurting them right now at this moment. Not everybody. There are those that are, I'm not going to say everybody, but like you said, I'm crying much less about what is the inyan right now, as opposed to when a baby is crying, it's about right now. Or a child's crying right now, it's about right now. That type of crying, we say in Shamayim, is it opens up tremendous gates. Now I'll just say it like this, the Zohar HaKodesh, this is a very good thing to remember. Why it's very important, if any of you have been privileged, well, this is pretty weird what I'm going to say. Those of you that are mothers were for sure privileged, but for men to be privileged to hear the first cry of their child, it's a very, very big inyan. of course, obviously, that's usually that sign of life, really, right? But the Zohar HaKadosh says something fascinating. He says the first cry of a child, of this neshama, if you have really good Kabbalistic ears, you hear that there's actually a question in the cry. And it's a painful question. And that question is, what am I doing here? Yeah. The second cry is, how come no one understands my first cry? That's according to the Zohar. Sorry for continuing this tangent, but on Rosh Hashanah, with the tkiyas of the shofar, is a time to reconnect with the first and second cries. Maybe we'll have time, if we have time before Rosh Hashanah, to learn about this. But the point of sharing all this is as follows. On the outside, a baby crying, what does it look like? It's a baby, it cries. In the inside, there's nothing holier and purer. There's nothing holier and more pure.
This week I went to Levaya in Kiryat Bialik of Ariel Leibowitz, and when his wife got up to speak, she couldn't find the words, but he has a 9-month-old baby, and the baby was crying, and it was just like that was the emotion of everyone, thousands of people, and there were no words, but the baby, was crying.
You know how refined it is when there's a cry of all cries, but it actually finds exact words? So that is the highest tefillah that women are much more kshurot to than men. That you know inside what you're feeling and you're able to find those words. That is something that I witnessed this week with my own eyes. This week on Sunday night, Rav Leo got married. I'm sure by now many of you saw footage from that chuppah. If anyone wants to get a little zetz of Elul, some tshuva, make sure that you watch the words that his 2 daughters said. I was so shocked that someone put out yesterday some kind of a recap of the chuppah.
Leo put it out.
Well, Leo shared it. I don't know who put that video together. That's what I mean, the actual video, because, Leo shared it and others shared, because they show, I don't know if you've noticed it, but they show like what people were going through. Like they should have given out boxes of tissues when you walked into that wedding, Was anyone else physically there in the room? You were there. Yeah, you were there, Nachon. So what I'm trying to say is that, can you imagine the emotion and the feeling that was going on? They mixed, like I was asked, what did it feel like? I was talking about Leo, the chuppah with Leo. So what did it feel like? It felt like every single emotion that exists. There's every single emotion that exists was there. From exuberant joy, tremendous joy, amazing kala. It's not been married yet, amazing. And the simcha for her was real. And the simcha for Leo was real. And the crazy, I don't want to call it pain, but the heartbreak of the situation was nothing that any of us ever tasted in our life. But leave it to Kim, talking about Karen and Tali's words. You took the video. Those words, what they shared, was so meduyak, exact. It was exact. I already know that I'm going to be talking about it Rosh Hashanah. It's one of the greatest problems you should know the rabbis have, is that they never get inspired, because whatever they hear, they always thinking, how do you already go into this different mind of how does it get used in a shir or in a drasha or something. But this is like beyond inspiration. The kedusha, and only this is, we're going to be seeing this later. Only bemet, this is found innately in the koach of a woman to actually say what's going on, to actually express exactly what's going on, just like the purity and the kedusha of a child. And in this world, that art and that trait doesn't get as much covered as things that look more coveted. This is what the Rebbe is saying. And we have to call it out. And that's why it could be it could happen very easily that in this case, a woman does not mekira berom ma'alata, that she doesn't really understand the potency and the greatness of what she said. If you want, bemet, I should say there's homework for next year. You must watch the words that they said, these girls. Because it shows us clearly what we're trying to get to with this piece. The ability to actually daven exactly what you want to say is a koyach of the Isha. It's a koyach of the Isha. Why? How? How did it become like this? What was the Ribono Shel Olam's chashiva with creating the world like this? We have Torah to learn, not just to make a statement. And that is one of the tikkunim that we have to do in the worlds we live in. It's not just about the statements. It's about learning about how did this come about, deep, deep, deep down inside. And these are not our chidushim, these are chidushim that are waiting for us for a very long time. V'chol zeh, we're in the second paragraph on the top of the page. V'chol zeh, mar'e lanu, ma'i chashivut amitit שבשמיים, שהיא שונה לגמרי מאשר בעולם הגשמי. Real importance in heaven is completely different than what kavod looks like in this world. שבשמיים גם עוללים קטנים משפיעים בכל העולמות. Children, with the purity and holiness of their crying, change over heaven and earth. V'kal v'chomer, if that's true, that a child's hevel piv, the hevel, the air that comes out of their mouth, the cry of the baby, if that shakes up heaven and earth, kal v'chomer ha'isha atzma, shehi zot shemevi'a et nishmot Yisrael la'olam, all the more so, the one who brought the child that's able to produce such a shaking of heaven and earth, kal v'chomer, that the source of that child does the same, if not even more. קל וחומר האישה עצמה שהיא זאת שמביאה את נשמות ישראל לעולם, מחנכת ומעודדת אותם לתורת בית רבן. בכל קיומו של עולם, the whole קיום of the world, בזכות עבודתה המסורה, and he'll explain this, that the קיום of this world, the existence of this world, is in the merit of the mesirus nefesh that a mother has, בוודאי ובוודאי שהיא יכולה לפעול בתפילתה ובדמעתה אף יותר מהם לעורר את רצון אצל השם יתברך לקיום בני ישראל ולהביא גזרות טובות על עם ישראל. What did the Rebbe say over here? This is so beautiful. He said, we just learned a beautiful thing about a baby. I told you that Zohar. What is Zohar? What a potent prayer. What a gorgeous approach to think about these things. The Rebbe is saying, you think that's high? You get excited when a child looks so holy? Do you have any idea who you are? You think that's holy? You think that is something that shakes up heaven and earth? The holiness of recognizing your own koach is a big, big, big kiddush Hashem in the world. It's like Hashem said, I'm going to create man and woman, I'm going to create children, v'chulei, and you just go and figure it out. Then you have the mitzvah of pru revu, which isn't even a mitzvah on a woman. Do you know that? It's a mitzvah on a man. Why? We're going to learn the pnimiyut of that sugya. Chinuch, who's the mitzvah on? It's a trick question, I'm just warning you. Don't answer, Naina, I'm just putting it out there. All these questions, all these things, what we're gonna Be'ezer Hashem attempt to do in our learning, in our shir, is to, I would say like this, is to learn these sugyas inside to try to understand how to change over the whole world. How are we going to change over the whole world? Well, the world today, still today, it idolizes things, and especially in the social media world, things that look big, things that seem big. When really in Shamayim, maybe certain things that seem big are big, I don't know. But generally speaking, the real things, the real deeper things are not the ones that are calling out for kavod. They are the things that seem to, like being a prime minister, or any of these, like ma'amadim. How do you say that?
It's like titles.
Yeah, more like titles. But instead of saying, let's strip away all titles, let's just learn deep down inside the Torah of Bria, of how Hashem created this world, and what He thought about, what He placed innately in mothers, in wives, in daughters, in sisters, to look at it from that approach. Because yes, like the Rebbe opened up here by saying, it's a big mistake when you don't understand what you have to work on. But it's even a graver mistake to not realize what you have already worked on and what already exists within you. And that's why I just want to end off by giving another moment of just chizuk. This year, and I'm speaking about this with a lot of people this year, because a lot of different people that heard, a lot of like big, gdolim and gdolot that heard that this is what we're going to be doing, are anticipating, like anxiously anticipating to try to see the development of a shir like this. And it's all in the schus of who the women of this shul have been from day one, from before day one. I always say it's the weeks, maybe it was even months, that we knew we were about to come in, we were about to come into the shul, which was faster than normal. In like from what I'm hearing from other places, it was a faster process. But there was, kamuvan, loads and loads of dust like there is on any construction site. It was also the winter. We moved in April. So it was pretty cold. And there was one thing that didn't exist yet, electricity. And the women of the shul would mop, clean, and you say, well, that's pretty degrading. They came to just mop and clean? No. They also finished Sefer Tehillim every time they would do that. Why did they do that? It was a natural, sensitive hergesh to what was going on over here. And I believe that the shul was miyusad on that. The building was found. I believe the only reason why we were blessed to have what we have is because that's what was planted and put into the walls of this shul. And Be'ezer Hashem, we're just going to continue to climb over that shetach that was set up by you. And Be'ezrat Hashem, this will be a healthy and holy approach to understanding. I don't like to say women's roles. Roles. All roles. Everyone. Man, wife, child, rabbi, congregant. Roles. To look at it through this angle of Ma'alat Tfilat Nashim, which is the point of all this. We didn't even get to women's davening yet too much, but it's just a general overview of what we're going to be looking into. So for now, I'll be preparing the text. You don't have to get the sefer unless you have it. You're welcome to bring it. We're going to be jumping around it. And Bezrat Hashem will continue Sunday morning. Shkayach, everybody.